You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run.
This is I Don't Get It, the pop culture get up my lawn cast. This show features the open-minded musings of two early 50s curmudgeons staring down the prospect of entertainment relevance. I'm your co-host Bill Scurry, American Caesar Enterprises, which is the first fully accredited clown surgical college in Sarasota, Florida, preparing a new generation of doctors clown for the healthcare of Harlequin Americans.
All right, so you're a medical school for people, medical school for clowns, or for any person who wants to be a clown/doctor?
No, it's doctor's clown. We're falling behind here. I don't think you understand how the preventive maintenance, surgical care, surgical aftercare, pharmaceutical
upkeep. Oh, this is about
upkeep.
treating clowns medically.
Right, but we have a fully accredited staff. It's a surgical college for doctors clown.
So are your doctors all clowns, or they're just people who treat clowns?
No, they are all fully. It's a fully clown-based staff of
so
residents.
Everyone you train is a clown. Now, do they have to be a clown before they come to your school, or do you teach them the art of clowning?
Well,
the commedia dell'arte.
Are you a doctor before you start medical school? No, you go to medical school. You become a doctor after.
I see. So you train people in both clowning and the medical arts.
Look, you're a clown before.
You're not answer the fucking question. Do you train people in clowning, doctoring, or both?
No. You're already a clown by the time you show up to our
All right, so you have to have clown certification to even get in the door.
You need to be a certified clown. Yes, you need to be
to get in the door. But
a degree certified clown.
Right. Do you need any medical training in the past? You just have to have passed your MCATs.
MCATs,
whatever
help.
the things.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Some people come through from dentistry and they get into osteopathy.
This is ridiculous. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is ridiculous?
And you said you're the first one in Sarasota, Florida.
Yes,
are you the first one, in Sarasota, Florida, meaning you're the first one anywhere and you happen to be in Sarasota, Florida? Or are there other ones outside of the greater Sarasota metropolitan area?
Well, the key operation here is Sarasota because that is the home of the Ringling Brothers Clown College.
No, right. You're not answering my question.
Yeah.
Are there other schools like yours outside Sarasota?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay,
no.
So you are the first one anywhere, and you're in Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah.
Folks, if you haven't already turned this off,
you'll get to it in a second.
Welcome to the show. My name is Noah Tarnow. I'm the founder and the senior quizmaster of the Big Quiz Thing, the trivia game show spectacular, serving the greater Sarasota area and all of Florida, and indeed all the United States, and an actual business that makes sense most of the time. Thanks for joining us, folks. Thanks for coming to the show. Bill, our topic this week is a big one. This was your insistence, although I didn't push back too hard.
It's a bailiwick. It's a whole big thing.
This is a big topic. We talk about stuff that's happening that's hot, and this is pretty damn hot. I didn't realize how hot. It had just sort of been in the background of my mind. I see this thing around, but definitely in the last 10 years since a big Supreme Court case in 2018.
I didn't even know that happened. Yeah, that was news to me.
That's what legalized it. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me about the current mania throughout our country for, sports gambling, but really all online gambling, right? Yeah. That's what we're calling the topic, online gambling.
I think the term I've heard, the sportier, snazzier term is the casino economy.
The casino economy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But it's fueled by online, right?
Right.
Like this podcast I sent you basically says you used to have to go to a sleazy neighborhood to bet on stuff.
Yeah. You still can if you want.
You can go to sleazy neighborhoods for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But most Americans have to live in sleazy neighborhoods now. But like now the little computer in your pocket is your sleazy. Ain't that true? And your phone is your sleazy neighborhood.
And the casino part, of course, comes from the fact that everything is gamified and everything. Yeah, it's
everything's casino-fied. You can get a hooker in your pocket. Everything. So tell me about free breakfast buffet at 5 a.m. in your pocket.
So that's true.
So tell us about the casino economy.
If you're rolling like a whale, you get breakfast you can get breakfast in your own house at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Yeah. Not for free though.
That's true. So the casino economy, let's drill down into it. It's an agglomeration of prediction markets, sports betting venues, which reflect a growing trend, which is, Jesus, I mean, it was already huge to begin with. I'll get into my experience with sports betting, of which I had quite a bit, unfortunately. A growing, well, I did work at the racing forum for a decade.
That's
so
right.
There you go, man.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, this growing trend towards unstable forms of, and this is a misnomer. It's uncharitable. The idea of investment, Noah. People think of this shit as investment. Is you gambling on low probability outcome for big yields? It is whatever. It's ridiculous. So
it's like people who sell empty their savings accounts to buy lottery tickets.
Yeah. That's a smart move. I think people should do that right now if you're looking for advice from us.
Not realizing that when it's a $60 million jackpot, 500,000 tickets versus one ticket, your odds are mathematically the same.
Yeah. So gambling on sports is as old as Mark Time. See the 1919 White Sox scandal.
Yes, that's as old as time. 1919 is when history.
That was 6 years before we were born. So that's the basis, the parameters I could even consider. So the idea of creating a money line culture on everything in society, apart from World Series and sports, Super Bowl results, is kind of a relatively new phenomenon. Just the wagerification of everything. So in the past few months, newly launched prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket. Now these are the new things.
Years, not past.
Okay, I'd only started hearing about these things in the last few months, and it's like I wasn't aware about how much the cities in America are being plastered with ads for these things. So apparently, if you were in either San Francisco or New York, which both of us have known to be from time to time, this is one of the huge, sort of viral advertising thumbs that was being squished onto your head from without. So these prediction markets have been authorized to take action on such things as election results, which then in turn creates a feedback loop. That feedback loop affects polling, and the polling affects news reports, and it comes back on the fucking prediction markets. So, yeah, to draw it back for a moment, like Noah said, sports betting itself was generally illegal in America, with the exception of off-track betting, horse racing, which had its own cutout in a bunch of markets. But you had to go to, you either had to be at the track or go to off-track betting where they had such markets. New York City, people used to be a fine. The OTB was a fixture of old New York.
Yes.
And
Does OTB still exist as a business?
You know what? I don't think so. I mean, it was barely extant in the early 2000s.
To the Google device.
To the Google. So in 2018 comes around, like Noah said, the Supreme Court struck down something called Murphy v. National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA. It sent the decision to approve sports betting back down to the states, and now more than half of the 50 have legalized it, reversing the long-standing prohibition on sports books, which required people to take action in small illegal circles or play online, read international. They're essentially offshore casinos, but people used to be able to bet by setting up overseas accounts and like essentially playing in casinos that were headquartered in Bermuda or Cayman Islands or the United Kingdom or that kind of thing. So now that all sports are generally on the table, the proclivity towards wagering on every fucking variable that you could possibly put a money line on proved to be irresistible. So I've been hearing on podcasts people talking about these Kalshi ads on LED surfaces, at what are they, bus stops, taxi toppers, wherever you want in New York City.
You watch sports, you see it on the, whatever those walls are behind where the players are, or wherever they put ads.
Those are the
in arenas and
Betfair and the sports books and those things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Polymarket, Polymarket. That's taken
Polymarket.
over. Yeah.
So the odds on Mamdani versus Cuomo were touted, right? And they were plastered all over the New York City mayoralty. It led many to believe or wonder if the speculation wasn't somehow skewing. Like the goading of people into taking action on it was somehow, it's a predictive market. It's, what do they say? It's based on not who will win, but not based on should win, but will win. It's not the idea that people are like, oh, I want Cuomo over Mamdani, but it's like, is Cuomo more likely to win? And so people would bet on it, and it would skew, I don't know, sentiment, blah, 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 whatever. Man, it's really fucked up. It's crazy.
But it's beyond that, dude. It's people betting on, betting on not just sports, but like, the example I heard was people literally gambling on when WNBA players would enter their menstrual cycle. Like insane. I'm not joking. I mean, it's connected with that means they're going to sit out the game and it'll affect the game,
we
still,
call these things they were called in the sports betting parlance, they were called prop bets. So just stuff that you would say. It used to be, who's going to win the Oscar? Is it going to be No Country for Old Men, or is it going to be There Will Be Blood? That was a prop bet. And now it's like it's drilled into the center of wagering. So look, we've covered blockchain / crypto here already. I already feel like that's a total gamble grift for those of us who don't understand it. I get that there's a system to it, but fuck that shit. It's
here to stay.
It's here to stay.
By the way, Polymarket only accepts crypto.
I did not know
you
that.
Cannot pay with anything.
There's no cash. It's just strictly Ethereum or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so crypto is like a hydrogen bomb, and it's enriched the Trump family. Anyone connected with that fucking disease bloodline. One could surmise that the doom that surrounds us right now, that we're all living in, has created a sort of gaseous poison miasma in the atmosphere, which kind of like imputes a sense of hopelessness among people, especially.
You got away with a metaphor, my friend.
Thank you. But like we're talking about. I think you're concretizing a picture in your head. I'm thinking of risk-prone men. Yes. I'm not saying that other people don't do this, but I think you have a picture of, and it's probably pretty accurate of who we're discussing in this case.
And that's who they're targeting. That's who they're targeting. And Polymarket's Twitter feed is just, it's in the, it's why they do Twitter, because it's all about not even Manosphere. Plenty of men who have nothing to do with Manosphere, plenty of men who are not Trumpers, but that sort of larger firmaments for sure. Guys.
Biological bullshit.
I'm going to quote him later, I think, but I read a lot. Max Reed, the writer Max Reed, talks about the suckerification of men. And this is the linchpin of it, I believe.
Max Reed had I read his Substack too. He had a great term. He kept calling things, he called them slop touts. And I just love it. It was exactly correct. Like what we're talking about, the idea is like, this shit is all slop touts. Anyway, so look, the sum of it is what might have in my notes docket here is that fucking getting rich quick seems to be the only sensible course of action as civil society caves in upon itself.
Hey, who wants to get rich slow?
Noah, tell me what the casino economy, how did it turn your stomach this week when you were reading about it?
All right, I'm gonna read a quote from literature. It was probable that there were some millions of proles for whom the lottery was the principal, if not the only reason for remaining alive. It was their delight, their folly, their anodyne, their intellectual stimulant. Where the lottery was concerned, even people who could barely read and write seemed capable of intricate calculations and staggering feats of memory. There was a whole tribe of men who made a living simply by selling systems, forecasts, and lucky amulets. Unquote. That is from George Orwell, 1984. And basically talking about in a world, a totalitarian world where there is no hope, the lottery was the only thing giving. Did you
recall that, or did you find that in your course? I
did recall that.
Wow, good for you.
1984 might be my favorite book. Wow. This is just awful, man. This is really, really bad. Gambling is. Look, I'm sure gambling has been with us since a guy knocked two rocks together in a cave, but it's very insidious. It was called
Yahtzee in the cave.
I love Yahtzee. I recall the first time I went to Las Vegas when I was 21 years old, and I played some blackjack, and it just the lure for the rest of the weekend. I just wanted to play more blackjack, And I'm very proud of myself. The last 2 times I went to Vegas, I didn't gamble at all. I'm going to Vegas again in December, and I'm probably going to gamble because I'm going to be with people gambling. Gambling is, we've all heard the stories about people being ruined by gambling. So anything involving that, I think, is obviously there are responsible ways of doing it, but is inherently dangerous. I think it's no surprise or no debate that we're in a world where marketing and advertising has reached its tentacles into the realm of insidiousness. One thing about a lot of these, Polymarkets and DraftKings, which is a big thing about sports gambling.
That's plastered every game of any make.
It's owned by ESPN, or am I confused?
It's owned by Asmodeus, Lord of the Bottomless Pit.
Okay, by Beelzebub, yes. They have ads with celebrities hawking it. Does Kevin Hart really need more money? Jesus Christ, this guy.
You don't want to go to Riyadh, do you? I mean,
Yeah.
what do you want for this guy?
John Hamm, who I used to love, he did a really gross ad where he's like, don't you want to have an epic experience at the bar where you bet and you make all this money and you buy drinks for everyone? And then, of course, these companies hire streamers to basically bet on something, and during their stream, they're, oh, I won, yay, which makes it sound easy, not revealing that the streamers are not playing with their own money. They give the streamers money to play with. So, there is an evil element of advertising to this. As a result, people view this as less risk than it is. And NerdWallet did an interesting survey on how people regard and treat online gambling, sports gambling. 65% of people who do sports gambling, and by the way, I think it's 20% of American men do sport. No, more than 50% of American men, 20% of everyone. As a result, 65%, when asked why they do sports gambling online, they say it's a good way to make money.
Good God, man.
And this podcast I listened to, the ICYMI podcast, they quote this writer, Manny Fidel, and he says, you can now risk your life savings as easily as texting a friend. The fact that you can do it from your pocket. So we have this really horrible nexus of gambling, advertising, and social media. The result is really bad. I'm not a sports fan. I've said on the show many times, I'm very cynical about sports and the hold it has over our culture and our imagination, our economy, and our laws. But I do see the purpose of sports, the need, and the benefit. And there's really an argument to be made that by gambling having swallowed American sports, it really kind of ruined sports. Because, I always thought sports fandom was a little like roller coasters or horror movies. You can get invested in it. You can feel the fear and the stakes and the worry and the being on the edge. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You pray that the Eagles win. But if they lose, it's not the end of the world. You don't really lose anything. Your life goes on. But if you've bet your life savings on the fucking Eagles, beating the spread, well, then you can't just enjoy sports. You make this important investment in it and you lose the point. People who argue that gambling is good for sports or the proliferation of gambling is good for sports say it makes it more participatory. It's a tough word. But again, I think that misses the point. The point is you can enjoy it without the true stakes of life or death or, riches or
financial
or
ruination,
poverty.
like you said.
Right, exactly. A writer, Tommy Craggs, writes for Bloomberg. He says, with omnipresent gambling, sports are reduced or perhaps elevated into something exploitable rather than just consumable and enjoyable, unquote. And I think that's an indicator of a crisis of the soul, not to be too dramatic. As for beyond sports, I think that reveals a weird tension. When I say part of the problem with, the proliferation of gambling on sports means it's not just a game. Now it has actual stakes with, horrible penalties. It's almost the opposite with gambling on things like elections or, whether the Ukraine war is going to end or things like that. If we gamble on real life, now everything's a game and nothing is real. Or at the very least, the stakes are distorted and we don't properly understand what really matters in this world. We make vital decisions based on all the wrong reasons, not whether it's good for the world, it's good for our community, but whether it's good for our bank account. I think this is really bad. As I think Orwell was trying to get in this quote, it's an indication of the end times, and it's a race to the bottom. And I really worry about this, man.
Well, there's plenty of room. It's a race to the bottom, but we're going to get there and live at the bottom. It's no finition. Essentially, it's just a new plateau of where everyone can live.
What does that mean for our culture and our society and our race?
What does it mean today? Yeah. So I hinted at this before, or at least I said I did spend a decade in the sports betting world. I worked for the Daily Racing Form. It was both my introduction to the premise of wagering. Not that I didn't know what that was. But it was the intimate workings of watching the whole business essentially predicated on gambling the pretense of making horses, breeding horses, the whole farm culture in Lexington, Kentucky, and the bluegrass, and the Panamanian small guys who come to the United States to ride the horses, and all this other stuff was essentially just a pretense to bet on something. That's what it all existed for. So, not only was it an introduction to the premise of gambling, it was an enormous dissuasion from doing so. For me. I did work with gambling addicts, to the left and to the right. And some of them were very nice guys, family guys, but they had a problem. And again, they lied to themselves about the sort of
I can quit anytime.
Or the idea that there was some science to betting on some handicapping.
I got a system.
Horses.
I can't lose.
It's so ridiculous.
I've been losing for 10 years, but it'll come through. The system will kick into gear eventually.
Watching an entire shrinking market of that generation of old men. And look, when I started there, a lot of my coworkers were in their late 40s and early 50s, and now 25 years later, wherever these guys are, I got out of there in 2010. So it's been a long time now, but. Those guys, they were lying to themselves on a daily basis that you could predict the result of a thoroughbred running around a mile oval of grass. To me, it looked predatory. It looked pathetic. Fine, whatever. They only hurt themselves. They lost tens of thousands of dollars a piece over the course of years. That was obvious. But, the word predatory kept appearing in all the research I did this week. People kept mentioning that. It wasn't just that I read the stuff and I surmised that idea. People actually quoted all of this stuff as saying it's predatory. The prediction markets all look, they all look like the same sort of fun guy shit. They're pointing at this picture that, you should want to be in the card room at Mohegan Sun. You should want to be at the Craps Felt at Bellagio.
And you can't have fun with it, but the risk of not having fun is really high, and they don't show you that.
Right. It's and that's the thing. It's like these are, I don't think it's a risk thing. These are heavily masculine or masculine inflected spaces, which look affirmative of McKee's bone bravado. Fortune favors only the bold, there's just something about this which is daring and, Vegas baby, all the fucking swinger shit about people, driving through the night.
The joke, of course, is those guys were pathetic.
They were pathetic. And it's I don't want to bet the whole thing. It's and he blew it on one bet. That's it. He lost it all in a single bet. But it's I like then, like now, for the rest of eternity, I think I'm happier with a single dollar in my hand and not wagering on a fucking thing.
It's the rise of over 13 million meme coins. It's banks letting clients post Bitcoin as collateral. It's venture capital firms funding debt roulette startups. Both the public and private sector are betting on the foundation of the US economy and betting that it'll hold as they continue to roll the dice against it. Big tech is betting trillions on AI infrastructure. Boom is one of the biggest speculative waves in history.
What was that headline? That New York Magazine article is really good. The headline basically was saying gambling has swallowed up sports and now it's going to swallow up everything else.
Yeah. Paraphrase, but it's...
yeah. How did this happen? Why are we falling for this? Why?
Look, man, you can take the nest egg, to quote, what was that movie? The Albert Brooks movie, Lost in America, that Julie Haggerty blows the entire thing in Vegas. She takes the nest egg. You could take a nut, right?
Wait, what movie are you talking about?
That was the Albert Brooks movie, Lost in America, where Albert Brooks and Julie... Oh, it's really good.
I love Julie. Oh, my God. I mean, I only know her from Airplane. She's so hot.
She's great. She's great.
Yeah, I got to see that movie then. Okay.
It's one of the classic depictions of somebody losing it all in just, over the course of a bad couple of 2 hours.
Is it a comedy or is it?
Yeah, of course it's a comedy. It's Albert Brooks. It's one of his more unheralded ones.
Do you know Albert Brooks' real name?
Einstein. Of course.
Albert Einstein. Yeah. It really takes balls to name your kid Albert Einstein.
Hey, it's at the time it seemed like a good idea.
I mean, if your last name's Einstein, I guess it's. But
you take that money, you put it in the felt, you put it in the actual felt or the metaphorical felt. In this case, it's the metaphorical felt. It's like the potential to win hundreds, if not thousands, if not trillions of dollars is what you tell yourself.
You're going to be Elon Musk. Just give me another hour at the table.
Just keep it going. Look, it's the easy way out. It's the easy way through it. You could work for a paycheck like a sucker. Everybody works for a paycheck. But the thing is, if you're not throwing some cash down on the green, you're betting on the remote possibility. 8 months ago, this is one of the things they kept mentioning. If you had somehow seized on the prediction market that 8 months ago, the number line on Mamdani versus Cuomo was like infinitesimal.
If you had put money on Mamdani when he declared, you would, oh my God, you would.
If you would
be
even
through the roof right now,
fucking considered it. If you even had the foresight to even consider that, like, I'm sure somebody did.
I mean, Mamdani, he clearly, I don't think he went into it thinking I won't win. I'm just gonna. I think he went in planning to win. He wasn't just going to make statements.
Right. It's so the thing is, it's like I like what what if you're not going to do that. No, if you're not going to sort of pinhook the next Mamdani, what are we even doing here, man? So why is it popular? It's because there is fabulous wealth out there. You have to lie to yourself about what you're going to lose to try to get it, and you could lie to yourself about that you're going to get it at all. It's just it's available to the brave and the bold. Copyright James Aparo, DC Comics, 1977.
No, Bob Haney. He wrote it.
Bob Haney. Okay, and that's it. It's just like you can win and you cannot be a loser, and I'm a loser, and I'm not popular. Noah, that's what's happening here.
Well, we knew that already. Yeah. Why? I mean, the thing I had written was our mercenary media, but you really. You mentioned a better adjective, which is our predatory media. I mean, there have been no guard. Maybe I haven't said this enough, but I think one of the central problems in our culture, in our society, in our politics, and our law is that there have been very few guardrails on the media in the past 100 years. And, if someone wants to sell something or pump something into our brains, there are not only very few laws preventing the toxicity of that or the toxic elements of that. I mean, something I do talk about a lot, there's no education, right? So, we're not, I've said it a million times, everyone is media illiterate. So we get a message from DraftKings or Polymarket, we fall for it. We fall for John Hamm telling us betting on this hockey game means you're going to be the most popular guy in the bar. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose your kid's college fund.
I heard in a podcast, they said, people don't even understand the concept of interest and what it actually means.
Yep.
Like it's something as simple as that, the financial illiteracy.
I mean, how many fucking people say, oh, I don't want to raise because it means I'll be in a higher tax bracket and I'll lose more money. I mean, how many people don't understand that? So our predatory media, and frankly, me being the sports cynic, our predatory sports culture, right? I always complain about we hold these athletes up as heroes and they're just at best anodyne. I mean, at best they're Muhammad Ali, so they are heroes, but like 95% of them, at best they're boring, and at worst they're, date rapists. So the all-consuming nature of sports, our obsession of it, always spins out of control. And that's not just our culture. Honduras and El Salvador went to war over a soccer rivalry. This was sort of inevitable. We keep racing to the bottom, and somewhere in the fine wood scrapings of the bottom of the barrel, there exists gambling culture. And then again, getting back to my quote from 1984, Orwell's quote from 1984. Look, I am enough of an optimist to say we are not at the end times, but we're definitely in a grim, difficult, the rosiest description I'll give is challenging place right now. And often it feels like there isn't much hope. So we throw ourselves into quick dopamine hits, right? I mean, and when you have this newfound nexus of gambling and social media, why wouldn't we embrace this? It is beyond seductive. In reading this, I read something very interesting. They said when the slot machine was invented, part of the genius of it is that, something new is just you pull the one-armed bandit and there's something new. There's always some new hit around the corner, a new chance to win.
It's a dopa hit. Yeah, it's a dopa hit.
And it is really exactly like social media, right? You scroll, the endless scroll. There's always something new. There might be that dopamine hit around the corner, that piece of information that makes you feel better, that, affirmation of your own intelligence or your own popularity. We have really turned everything, all interaction, and all is an exaggeration, but not a huge exaggeration, into a slot machine. And Why wouldn't we do this? Especially with the lure of money.
Everybody wants to get rich, not by learning a new skill, creating a product that's useful to people, creating a service that's useful to people. They want to get rich by saying, I'm smart and I can read the future.
Noah, as a little scabrous kid, would you have liked the casino economy, wagering on everything, prediction markets?
I think I would. Yeah. I mean, I was never into sports. If I were young now, I don't think that would be different. Well, I was briefly into hockey. I've talked about that.
But you said cards, which I always forget that there is something about like a blackjack game or something. There's a novelty to that. If it's not sports, it's not Cleveland Indians box scores, but it's like gambling in that respect. There's something that gets you.
Maybe I'd be, I mean, it's only a few times in my life. I mean, I've played blackjack a handful of times. By the way, story I love to tell. I'm always proud of this. 2009, when friend of the show, Katie Venino, and I, then my girlfriend, we went to Puerto Rico, and in our hotel, there was a casino. And one night we went out to a nice dinner. We dressed up nice and we said, we're going to the casino, but we're going to be careful about this, right? We're going to put down $5 and see what that turns into. And if we end up with zero, we leave. We put down our $5 chip at the $5 blackjack table. Boom, one hand out, done. It was less than a minute. And we're like, well, that was come on. It was so quick. We might as well put down another $5. And we went, nope. We made a deal with ourselves. Get the fuck out. So we left. We went next door to the video arcade, and we spent the night dressed in our nice clothes playing Dance Dance Revolution and spent $20 on that. And we were so proud of ourselves because we did the right thing, right? So I am able to resist this. All right, I will end my tangent. I think if I were young now, I would be betting on not sports, but stuff like elections or will this rock band go on tour or all the stuff I was interested in.
Stuff that's tucked into your core competencies, more or less. Yeah.
It would be too tempting. I was too weak as a young man. I thought too much of my intelligence not to do this. So if the world's casino were in my pocket at the age of 16, I would bet on something. And it might be a problem. I mean, I don't see myself, losing every penny in my savings account, but I definitely see myself, getting to a point where like, this is a fucking problem. You need to stop. So yeah, I'm, there, but for the grace of God, etc.
I say this as I jut thumb into chest bone, Noah. This guy, did not then and do not now generally understand the concept of odds as something.
Oh, I don't get it at all either. When people say 6-1 odds, I'm still not clear on what that is.
Like seriously,
I don't know. It's like the rules of football. I still don't get it.
When someone talks about the spread or the over and under or what the fuck is going on here,
I think I get it, but 10% not clear.
It sounds like some kind of Hosha click language from Eastern Africa to me, honestly. Look, math has always been an abstract concept to me. I have a sort of innumeracy about these things. It's a quasi bona fide like learning disability. And so I think that, sure, you can go out and play a thing or do whatever you want. You can put as much money on or play cards and not understand the probability and odds and all this shit. It's fine. Because I bet you a lot of people just go out there because it's the thing to do. Not understanding what girds this stuff, that's fine. But it's like, I think even worse than that for me is the idea of like losing a single dollar frivolously. And I see what gamblers get out of it is that they're paying to lose the dollar. Statistically, they're going to lose their money when you gamble.
Yeah, but they don't think of it that way. They're not paying to lose the dollar. In fact, they're paying to lose a dollar, but in their mind, they're paying for the chance to get more dollars.
Right. But it's like I can see that what is actually happening, though, is that what you are actually doing is paying for the chance to lose the dollar. Like that is informing some level of thrill. I guess, of course, there's a chance that you could come out ahead or make your money back or get nearly there or whatever the fuck it is. But it's like I have been my close commiserates. I've watched them play. I've watched them play with that dead-eyed look at the craps table for hours. And they pay dearly for it. And it's like, well, I cannot plug into whatever that is. The hit that they're getting of losing the money, surely they're losing the money. It's happening as a surety. The culture of the dice, the culture of wavering, man, it's like, I just do not get it. Trademark, copyright, marca registrada of this podcast, 2025, Anno Domini.
With the way gambling is being integrated into our fast-paced and increasingly manipulative online world, something may need to be done. Since the 2018 court ruling we discussed earlier, regulation has been minimal at best.
How much? I'm not going to ask if, but how much is the rise of casino culture an aspect of our coming apocalypse?
Yeah, it's too. I mean, this is going to be belaboring the point. We've already been discussing. This whole podcast has been the sign of the apocalypse.
Beating a dead bookie. Yep.
Yeah, with a thoroughbred horse that was killed for insurance money.
Beating a horse's head in someone's bed. Was that? Oh no, that was to get the guy to cast him in the movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That was the.
He made him an offer he can't. That was the offer he couldn't refuse, right?
Johnny, whatever his name was, Johnny Fontaine.
Johnny Fontaine. Yeah.
Whereas the ball game, Noah, capital B, capital G, was the province of a friendly wager among dudes in the Super Bowl pool in the past, in your workplace kitchen, that sort of thing. And that just seemed like, all right, some guy's got a grid going, and the fucking, HR person is the one that collects the money and pays out on Monday morning, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that this has sort of been a desperate throttling of gamifying everything from elections to other elections that actually matters. Kind of gross and injurious. People already act. Actually, this goes back to the thing. I didn't expect you to sort of bring up TikTok and the endless scroll, but people kind of already act like we're living inside of a Fortnite simulation. Reality, the material world's already packed with shitty junk food, porn, weapons. The biggest skin in the game, that everybody has is the chance to get paid off by it. It's like, Jesus, man, grow up and live in the world. Pretend like you got the same human interests as the rest of us. Climb out of the fucking hole like the Matrix. Not red pill, blue pill shit. But I'm just saying, it's like, acknowledge the fact that let's go outside and have a sunny day together and look at each other, just nod and say, yeah, we're on the planet.
Touch grass. I like that metaphor. Touch grass.
Touch grass and grow up. So yeah, there you go. Apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many apocalyptic elements to this, but the one that stands out most to me is we are certainly in our country, but the whole world, in an extreme financial crisis. I mean, we are reaching the breaking point. There's a reason affordability is the buzzword and seems to rule all, because we are going to get to a point, decades coming, where this is just not sustainable. And I do not know what's going to happen. It could be for good, it could be for ill, but we are close to some kind of breaking point, or certainly we can see the breaking point. And we're only just now waking up to it. And this, I believe, pours gasoline on the fire. It's, if you are desperate or worried in terms of your financial stability and your family's financial future, this is tempting in all the wrong ways. And there was an interesting quote from that podcast, Manny Fidel again, that I really liked. He said, the problem is, and how do you get out of this? The problem is, are people going to regulate casino culture? Well, whichever politicians or whichever party takes up the cause of regulating it is going to seem like the biggest fucking scolds and nerds and losers and buzzkills in the world. And talk about a way to be losers, right? I mean, that's how partly how the felon won. He made people actually care about this country look like fucking dorks. I think it's the opposite, but I see how that worked on way too many people. So this is a monster, and fighting the monster is going to just make the monster more powerful, I think.
It's true, you can be constantly nudged to bet on everything from who'll score the next point to what colour the Gatorade they pour on the coach will be. And look, insofar as any gambling requires skill, picking Gatorade colours really doesn't.
Now, well, let's finish with our last two segments. Let's talk about jealousy and the other one, which we'll get to in a second. Tell me, is there anything that fills you with envy about this whole grotesque roundelay we just discussed over the last 45 minutes?
No. In fact, I am so thankful I am not burdened by this. I mean, I think I would have when I was young, the temptation. I mean, put aside sports. I've never cared about sports. But I am not tempted to vote on who's going to win an election.
Yeah, well, neither of us have a gambling gene. The actual the problem gene.
Well,
but
I think I might deep down. The fact that I remember that time where walking through the casino, the blackjack table was calling to me, right? And I'm proud of myself. The last couple times I went to Vegas, I walked through a casino and I felt that call, but not very loudly. I was able to bypass it. So yeah, it doesn't call to me loudly. And now I have no urge to download DraftKings or Polymarket or whatever these other things are called. I mean, I don't even know what I'd bet on. I'm into politics, but I don't want to bet on that. I don't know. I think politics is too important for that. It seems to me that feels too frivolous.
You're betting on your aunt and uncle's life expectancy. Of course, there's a number associated with it, but it seems a little unholy to do so.
I mean, I don't know. I could see betting with it. I have a group of friends that we talk politics, and sometimes I remember, this is a while ago, in the 2020 primary, actually, that was during COVID. So maybe it's a 2016 primary. It was Republican primary. Oh, who's your guy? When your guy drops out, you got to buy a pitcher of beer for everyone. That kind of thing. Right. A little thing among friends. Why not? But I feel, because that's a friendly thing, right? I don't feel lured in by this. So I'm not jealous at all. I'm thankful that I'm not jealous, of course.
Yeah, I'm just, if I've imparted anything to the American people who I'm speaking with within the sound of my voice, I'm totally confounded by gambling. I'm utterly confounded by odds, bookmaking, and numbers, and concepts, and abstract concepts, and the concept of umami doesn't make any sense to me even. But that's a separate discussion.
Yes. If umami figures into your gambling strategy, you need a better system.
You got bigger problems. Yeah. So I don't get it. I don't comprehend it. I don't understand it. I'm untrammeled by envy this week, Noah. So yeah, it's simple enough. So what about the floating scale? Where would you rank this topic?
Well, this seemed pretty simple to me. You take TikTok, you multiply it by blockchain.
Yes.
And you add 86 million. This is really bad. By the way, I want to insert something else. Every time I think of stupid gambling systems, I remember an infomercial I saw probably 35 years ago that buy our system and you'll win the lottery by combining numbers. That was the secret, combining numbers.
And
I had all these, I guess it was Lotto. It was the pick the numbers thing. And it was, it had all these testimonials of people the system has paid for itself 300 times over. And even as a dumb teenager, I'm like, there's no way this works. What does that mean, combining numbers? It's just, God, people are such suckers. And look, I'm a sucker too when it comes to certain things, but it's human nature.
When I was a kid, man. I used to think there was a store you can go to that sold money. No, it was called the Money Store.
The Money Store. Phil Rizzuto told us.
That's how naive I was. It was an actual brick and mortar store that they sold you cash.
Well, to quote a great president, George W. Bush, it's your money. You paid for it.
All right, so I'm going to piggyback, Noah, for your sake. I'm going to use your large schema metaphor.
Yeah.
Where you attach 87 million to it?
86 million. 86.
Right. It's what I'm
86.7 million, but let's round down.
I'm going to conjure that whole idea as a chocolate sauce greased double dare slide. Right?
Nice.
At the end of that, Noah, is my comp, which of course is at the end of it, you fall into a pool of Ryan's World.
So wow, that is bad because Ryan's World is famously your least favorite topic we've ever looked at.
Ryan's World, Lana Del Rey, yeah, it's down at the bottom.
I think Lana Del Rey.
This I think punches its weight. No, I think it punches its weight.
So you think the Hall of Shame for you, is Ryan's World, Lana Del Rey, and casino culture.
I mean, what is it? Machine Gun Kelly? No, not Machine Gun Kelly. Takeshi 6ix9ine. That's it. Takeshi 6ix9ine.
What happened to him? Is he in jail?
It was pretty loathsome, and it doesn't matter. I don't want to find out what happened to him. But
I do not want to look up Takeshi 6ix9ine.
All right, I think that's the end. We've dealt here a lot. We've dwelled in the fens, the miasma.
But this is, you know what? This is a topic.
The methane gas swamps.
This is a topic like TikTok in that it is so big. It is a blockchain that eventually will come back to it. I really believe.
Yeah, that's true. And there's so much stuff that I realized, we've already covered the thing that we should be covering this week because it's an aspect of something that was so huge, and we're just like, it's another one of the browned edges of a fried egg. We're just sort of seeing one aspect of it, and it's like, good God, this is a gigantic construction. But yeah, you're right. It's so huge, and so its tendrils are so enormous. It's like a Scylla of madness.
Yes. So stay tuned to I Don't Get It, the Pop Culture Get Off My Lawn cast, to learn more about casino culture in the future.
All right, everybody. So if you want to find past episodes of this show, look on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Soundcloud, Google Play, of course, and YouTube. For some reason, it's still in the low teens and 20s and 30s, but it's like our view count on YouTube is going up.
Great.
Owing to nothing? I don't understand why.
It's because we're awesome, man. It's because we're great.
Blue Sky is our home on social media at noandbillshow.bsky.social. Write to us the old-fashioned way. Put a letter and a stamp on it, and send it to @noahandbilldon'tgetit@gmail.com. It'll get to us if you go through the conventional post office system. That will get to us. Reviews always help. We love reviews on the aggregator. I am personally on social at BillScurry.bsky, at William Scurry on Twitter, at William Scurry on Insta, and Finsta, and Findom, and OnlyFans, and all this.
Finster, and McManus, and Hockney, and Keaton.
Kobayashi. Yes, and here, Noah, where can people find you? Where's your clown college these days?
Clown college. My summer camp that I loved had a clown shop where you could learn clowning. And I still don't know.
It's a real art. It's a real art.
Yeah, well, here's what's sad. The clown has now, the idea of the evil clown has subsumed the fun clown in our culture. And while I find the evil clown appealing in a horror movie way, like, there should be room for a fun clown. That's unfortunate. I feel bad for clowns.
We're not a monolithic culture, that's for sure.
But the fun, I remember a few years ago, I'm walking through a street fair with my nephews when they were like 11, and there's a clown there. He's making balloon animals, he's entertaining little kids, and my nephew's like, oh, he's going to chop us up, he's going to kill us. Like, that's where kids go when they see clowns. And it's sad, Clowns are fun. Anyway. Balloon sculpturing, come on, that's a real skill. Find me online at bigquizthing.com. The Big Quiz Thing, America's premier provider of corporate and private live trivia events nationwide, worldwide. I'm busy with the holidays, man. I am busy with the holidays. So, hoping to come up for air when I go to Vegas at the end of the year. You could find me online at the Noah Tarnow on Instagram. Not that often, but on occasion. And and that's all I have to say about that.
All right, everybody. So until Noah takes the under on the next episode of me actually being entertaining and concise for a change, we don't get it.
A production of American Caesar Enterprises 2025.